Well, who put Daka on penalties anyway? Who should it be? And just what a performance that was against Watford. We were the better team, should have come away with 3 points, and the table should be looking a little bit healthier. But can we take the positives? Welcome back to Where Foxes Walk. Hope you're well. We've got Jim and Paul fresh back from Vicarage Road to give their views on what was a slightly improved performance for the Foxes. Great to have your company with us. It's 20 minutes of Leicester City chat. Also this week we're talking about football finances. Is it profitable to even own an EFL club these days? We're choosing our goal of the season, and we're up to U and V for our A to Z at the end of the show. Stay tuned for all of that. Right, let's get into it then, shall we? 0-0 against Watford, Jim, but that could have been so much better, couldn't it?
Well, it could have been, should have been. I mean, like you say, who put Daka, who scored 5 goals all season on penalties, when you've got Jordan James, you even got Ricardo, who's took him in the past, As soon as he stepped up for it, I just knew. I had a feeling that he was going to miss it, and unluckily, the rebound didn't fall to us. And then, obviously, he misses that open goal as well later on in the game. It just summed up our season. You've got a perfect chance to capitalise. We never looked like losing that game. It always looked like a 0-0 or 1-0, and 1-0 to us, because we'd never looked threatened by them. It was more of a midfield battle of the game. And then we had a penalty, like, oh yeah, we've got a chance here. And then he goes and good save by a goalkeeper, but you shouldn't give the goalie the chance to save it in the first place. And I just thought it was the wrong decision to pick him to do the penalties. I don't know whose choice it was, but it was definitely the wrong decision.
Yeah, well, it's going to be on the manager, you'd imagine, wouldn't you, Paul? Who would you have on the next penalty?
I would have picked anyone from the front row of the crowd to take it ahead of Daka, and I'd have put money on them scoring it. That's how bad he is. I couldn't believe it when I saw him stepping up. Genuinely, like Jim says, I don't know whether Jordan James takes a good penalty, but you would expect he does. The way he strikes the ball, but. If we had 5 players in a penalty shootout, just pick the other 4 and not Daka. What are they thinking? And, this is the stuff that's going to relegate us if we're not careful. It's not even funny, it's not.
We'll talk about Preston and Sheffield Wednesday to come, because we've got 2 massive games after the Easter break. But let's focus on this Watford one side. Who impressed you, Paul, then? It was an all right performance overall, wasn't it?
Look, the penalty and the miss from Daka's overshadowed the fact that what a surprise, you put Lascelles in and we've kept a clean sheet. Why he's not been playing, I don't know, apart from his injury. And it wasn't just a clean sheet, was it? It was a comfortable clean sheet. I don't think Watford barely had a chance. The keeper had very little to do. And they're a useful side. We've seen that at the King Power Stadium. So I think there's massive praise for that. That's good. And we attacked fairly well as well. We just got this real weakness up front, and that's a big issue.
Yeah, Jim, you agree about Lascelles?
Oh yeah, he was outstanding at the back. I mean, he even made a Coley look good. I mean, nothing against Nelson, but when you've got a young player next to you, you can get a bit nervous sometimes. And I think Lascelles brings that confidence and that assurance next to you with what you need. I mean, I'd play Nelson and Lascelles together. To be fair, I'd let Nelson, learn off him. But I thought the whole team in general did well. It was a midfield game. The whole game was just midfield battle. And I thought Jordan James, Skip and Winks did really well in midfield. The wingers did okay. Fatara was dangerous. That's why I got the penalty. I thought the Watford player should have got sent off, to be fair, second yellow card. But that's just my opinion. I don't know if anyone else agrees or not. But if he did get sent off, that would have turned the game. But no, I thought defensive-wise, I thought we looked comfortable. They had, I think, one shot which was saved by Jakub. And yeah, the defence just looked solid, like it should. But yeah, I think the cells in the back is a must coming up with the games we've got.
Yeah. When you watch, obviously, Pompey concede 6, Paul, and Oxford concede to Southampton, it was only West Brom, really, the result went against you. But, I mean, looking at how you're playing and looking at these other results, does it give you hope?
It does. We've just got to turn them into wins, haven't we? That's the problem. And also the home form is a concern because we are a different team away. I don't think Rowett's been beaten away. But I think we've drawn them all, which is fine if you win in your home games. In fact, it's good if you win in the home games, especially some of the draws we've had. But, the next 2 games, Preston at home, who pretty much lay down for anyone. And of course, the impending doom of Sheffield Wednesday, who've not won for 30-something games. And, hold our beer for us. Here's Leicester City. We'll sort you out.
And I think, there's some record, I think, in that game to be broken as well for the longest stretch of home games without a win.
We'll sort them out, guaranteed. Yeah. Don't worry about that. They'll be fine.
Right then. Preston, of course, stinking the gaff out, Jim. On the beach completely now, their fans. So this is a perfect home game, isn't it? For the crowd, we just need the crowd to do their bit a little bit more here. Now, I don't mean that they haven't, but just forget all the negativity, bring the noise on Good Friday, back the team, get the 3 points, go to Hillsborough, get the 3 points, and just save this club from League One mediocrity.
Yeah, I mean, the next 4 games we've got are absolutely massive. You've got Swansea in that, and then you've also got I forgot what it was now. Another team is down.
Big you've forgotten.
After the 4 games, we've got 2 that are pushing to playoffs. So the next 4 are up on that. Yeah, the next 4 games are absolutely massive, and we need to pick up at least 9 points from 12. I've lost my train of thought now. Sheffield Wednesday, for me, is the daft as it sounds, but I feel like that's going to be a really tight game and a game that I wouldn't be surprised if we end up losing, as daft as that sounds. That's the confidence I've got at the minute. But Preston, hit and miss. They've just won 3-1 at the weekend. So they're no pushovers, but they are one of the most inconsistent teams. And would I say it's a perfect time to play them? I would, but at the same time, how bad we're playing at the minute, I wouldn't fancy it against anyone. But, massive games coming up, the games that we need to, there's no excuses now, there's no draws. We need to start picking up 3 points. And if we don't, then I'm sorry, but it's a Titanic for us.
Okay. Let us know your thoughts on all the above here, plus also this next debate around football finances, Paul. The Pompey chairman this week has stated that the EFL is unsustainable in its current model, where essentially clubs now have to rely on their owners to wipe out the debt, which the club is inevitably going to pick up every single year. Of course, you know more about this probably than most as clubs, but taking your Leicester hat off a minute, do you think he's got a point? Is football becoming now, it's not a working class sport anymore, is it? It's becoming a point where if you own a football club, you're just going to be ready to make a loss and be happy to make a loss every single year and be ready to wipe that off.
Pretty much. I mean, look, from a fan's point of view, it's only since social media's arrived on the scene and that we actually really care. Or get to know, or people assume they know. The amount of lists I've seen with people getting furious on Facebook because Leicester players are earning so much money. But this is all just fantasy. We don't know. At the end of the day, they're businesses, aren't they? That's what they are, and it's up to them to run their businesses how they see fit. And if they want to overspend and try and get better, then that's entirely up to them. But it is a business, and we know from the Premier League that the PSL rules are there to stop teams like Leicester, Aston Villa, Brighton, Brentford getting anywhere near, because the minute you do, you're screwed. And Villa have suffered with that, with having to sell players they don't want to, not being able to buy players, and it's not just us. So the whole football finance thing is an absolute mess.
Want to get your views on what's happened to Chelsea this week. Kind of escaped your notice that they've been wrapped over the knuckles very, very lightly with a suspended sentence, and this is also suspended transfer ban. Any thoughts on this, Jim? As someone who's obviously a points deduction where you are, you would say probably even maybe a lesser crime.
Oh, it's absolutely disgusting. I mean, I'm not surprised at all. Same as when the Man City thing comes out. I wouldn't be surprised if you just get a fine, because Chelsea are one of the biggest clubs in England. So they aren't going to do anything that could jeopardise their status in the Premier League. Giving them a £20 million fine, is that giving me a 2p fine? They don't care. They spend more than that on wages a week. They don't care about £20 million. They don't care about, we can't sign anybody. Well, that's fine. We've got enough players. We've signed about 1,000 players in the last 2 years, for God's sake. So they don't care about anything of that. But I just think it's an insult to Everton, to Forest, to Leicester, to teams, to Portsmouth, to teams in the past, Sheffield Wednesday even, that have got points taken off them for lesser things. But because they're Chelsea and because of who they are, they just get a fine, a suspended transfer sentence and a slap wrist, basically. I think it's disgusting. But it's what is expected of football these days. Protect the big ones and sod the little ones.
Do you agree, Paul? I mean, they did essentially cheat. They did something which is outside of the rules to gain an advantage.
Totally, it's disgraceful. It's like it's the equivalent to Donald Trump, isn't it? He just says what he wants and does what he wants, and if you don't like it, it's just tough. So it's exactly the same things happened. Chelsea have done, the league have done what they want, and what do? Everyone goes mad on Twitter. Everyone goes mad on Facebook, and then 2 weeks later, it's all done, isn't it? And Chelsea carry on. I mean, we could all look at Chelsea and go, how are they spending that money? And Jim's right, the Man City thing, clearly there's going to be a huge fear there because that's slightly different, and that's more to do with the PSR. And they should be points deducted to hell. It should be like 45 points or something, but there's no way that's going to happen. No way.
Okay, let us know your thoughts on this one. Right, we're starting our awards this season. So if you're a Leicester fan who's particularly, if you know a Leicester fan who's been travelling from far away to travel to games every single one, let us know in the comments. We want to give them a shout out in the final games of the records of the season. We're trying to find our Leicester City Fan of the Year. So give us let us know your thoughts on all of that. This week we're doing our goal of the season. Of course, it might change, hopefully, in the coming weeks, so we get more stunners. But you've scored a few good ones. What's been your favourite so far, Jim?
It's got to be Fatabu or James' goal. I think when we scored against Birmingham, I believe it was, when we wore the pink kit. I think it won goal of the season, goal of the month in November, I believe. But I think it was November, but it was on from outside the box and he curled it into the corner kind of thing. Most people might vote for the one from halfway, but I don't think that was as good as technique as curling it into a top corner. It was just more of a goal is off his line, hit it and see what happens. So yeah, I haven't got any in mind really, apart from the one against Birmingham when he curled it into the corner.
Okay. Paul?
No, I think I would go for the halfway one because I think, he nutmegged someone, didn't he, beforehand and then whipped it round. And he's tried a few. That's what puts you off, I think, isn't it? And he's useless at them most of the time. But that was a quality goal. So I think that one. And for some reason, bizarrely, I think it was Skip's goal at Derby. It's probably because of the opponents, and it was just, I quite like that. It wasn't an amazing goal, but sometimes that's not it in football, is it? It's the moment.
It's the moment, yeah. Right. Okay. Right. And let us know in the comments. You're going to choose one of those. What's been your goal of the season? Super. Right. Up to you and V. Should we do V very quickly then? That's going to take very long. Jim, take V.
Oh, yeah, it's obvious, isn't it, Vardy? There's no doubt about it. I can't think of anyone else beginning with the V that's even played for us. But if Leicester...
Mark Venus, I think. Mark Venus played for us. He's before your time, I reckon. Yeah, he was rubbish. Useless.
But yeah, if you could literally make a statue of any player outside the club, it would be Vardy. He just defines what loyalty is in football.
Absolutely, Jamie Vardy gets in there. What about you then? Have you had any good use?
Well, Jim gave us this beforehand when we were having a bit of a chat. So this is Jim's. It's a Joa, isn't it? I mean, he was a legend for Leicester in his short time. Absolute legend. So it's a good shout, that is.
Brilliant. Okay. Yeah. Can you beat that in the chat? Nice, easy one. W to come after, of course, the international break. Right, you two, we're going to give you the week off from talking about Leicester City. Which I'm sure you're looking forward to. Have a great Easter if you're doing anything great, and of course, thank you for all your support on this channel. You might look at it and say, "Oh, it's only got 70 subs, but it mustn't be very good." Well, it's 20 minutes of Leicester City chat every single week. Drop us a sub if you haven't already done so. That'll be amazing to get to 100 before the end of the season. And we know there's loads of great content out there, blue tinted glasses, etc., Foxes and other Leicester City podcasts. This is 20 minutes of Leicester City chat, which looks at the good and bad of social media takes. Good luck then against Preston. We'll be fingers crossed. You can put some points on the board then, and of course, if you do lose to Sheffield Wednesday, we'll do a quick podcast.
Yeah, that's a quick one.
All right. Thanks so much, Jim. Thanks, Paul. Have a great
Take
break
care.
yourselves. Thank you very much for watching.